Well, good morning and welcome to Brekkie with the Guy Who Sews. My name is Sean and today is Saturday, the 7th of October. And I am super excited to have my good friend here, Amy from Amy Dement. She's a fairly new channel, but she's had explosive growth. She has a lot of fun stuff on the channel. So I know a lot of you guys have subscribed to her already, but if you're not, Amy, why don't you just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about yourself and the fun channel that you have.
Oh, thank you so much, Sean, for having me. My name's Amy, and I've been quilting since I was about 15, so that's more years than I care to admit at this point.
14, right? Because you're 29?
That's it.
Yeah, so you've been quilting 14 years. Okay.
Plus about 20. So, but having a good time. Started YouTube with the encouragement of my friend who is also a YouTuber, but in a different industry. And just having a blast meeting people and chatting with people and learning the format, which is a really steep learning curve, but really enjoying it. I live in Austin, Texas right now, but by way of, the Atlanta, Georgia area, born and raised in Marietta. So if any Georgia folks out there, morning.
We had a couple of folks from that area. I think Russ from Quilt Meets World is from there. Amy, who's another regular viewer of ours, is from that area or nearby. I mean, I could be like 1 or 2 cities over, but I'm fairly close to that. So there we go. Yeah, I mean, we have quite a few people from the Georgia area, which is neat. So, and Texas as well. We have quite a few viewers from Texas. So yeah, if you're from Atlanta or Texas, yeah, throw it in the chat and let us know who's watching. And of course, if you're from Virginia, throw that in as well. Or if you're from anywhere else, just let us know where you're watching from. It's always a lot of fun to see where all our viewers are coming from. So let's just see who is here with us this morning. We have quite a fun little group of us already. And it looks like we have Stephen Bland from Bland Designs and the Idiot Quilter. And I believe you did an interview with him last week, which should be posting next Tuesday, I believe, is what he was saying.
Yes, we had a great time.
Yeah, it's always fun hanging out with Stephen. He does a wonderful job interviewing folks. I interviewed with him back Easter of last year, and that was a lot of fun there. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out for that and head over to Stephen's channel. And check out that as well. Dragonflies for Donna is here with us this morning. Let's see, Nellie Franco. Let's see, who else am I missing? Linda Parsons, Pasita is here with us. Good morning. It's always good to hear from you. Pat Strawhouse and Jan Johnson. Good evening. She's one of my viewers from Western Australia. I always love having my Aussie viewers join us as well. I know it's late at night for them, but we do have quite a few hop in and join us out as well. Lisa from Orkle Quilter, Georgia is here. So we do have another Georgian here with us. Tiffany's Quilting Life, good morning. It is early for you. She's out in Arizona, so it's like 5:03 in the morning. I always love when Tiffany pops in. She's like one of the quilting YouTube superstars, in my opinion. So, but then again, some people think I'm a superstar, and I'm like, yeah, sure. Okay. Okay, one love says there's no sound. I think we're getting. Is anyone else having issues with sound? I think we're broadcasting okay that way. Donna Dixon's here from Alabama. Donna from Handmade by Ying with Donna is here with us. Good morning. If you haven't seen her channel, duck over and check it out. !Donna. Kathy Hutchins, she says, morning folks from Kyle, Texas, is down the road from Austin. And Laura A is here with us from Jacksonville, Florida. Sweet Granny is here as well. I think Teresa Lynch and Cynthia Maria Field. I think I caught everybody. And Nancy from my friend from Wisconsin's here as well. If I missed someone, I apologize. But we, chat moves so fast sometimes. So we normally bring something along to sew with us each Saturday morning. So what did you bring along to sew with us?
I have what I've been referring to as my super secret project. I'll just spill the beans. It's my QuiltCon entry, but I don't know if I'm going to get it finished in time. so I'm like, it's a secret project. If I don't get it finished,
You need to get it finished because I'm going to QuiltCon next year and I want to see it hanging up. I could take a photo of it and go, hi, Amy.
I would love to. And if it hangs, if they accept it it's for the juried but non-judged, the maximalism exhibit. And if they accept it, then I'll make the trip. But otherwise, I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna stretch the budget to get back there. So But
Yeah.
if they hang it up, I'll go.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, because I know next year it's in Raleigh, North Carolina, which is, I'm so thankful for that because it's like 2 hours and 45 minutes for me. So I'm just going to
It's
drive.
not far.
Yeah, I can just drive down that morning, hang out with everybody, maybe see a couple of quilts if I'm lucky, and head home. But yeah, for you, it's going to be quite a hike. And then I think 2025, it's back out in Phoenix, Arizona. So I
Phoenix
guess
again.
I think you're kind of in the middle. So yeah,
Yeah.
either way would work for you. I mean, it'll be nice and easy for Tiffany next in 2025. I mean, she could probably just roll out of bed and go down the street and she'll be all set. So that'd be a lot of fun. But I have brought along a couple of projects to work on. Now, I probably won't get the first one done, let alone the second. But I brought along clue 9 of the lavender. What is it? Village Green. I'll get it right in a minute. Puzzle mystery quilt. And this clue looks pretty easy, thankfully. So we've got all these beautiful lavender pieces.
So pretty.
So we'll get that started in just a hot moment. And then if I finish that, I cut out the pig block for the Fab Farm, which was the one that everybody chose earlier this week. And I've used just different pinks for the pig because, you have brown pigs and black pigs and that sort of, but I figured, a traditional pig is pink. So we'll do that. I've got some textured fabrics, and then I'm going to try and use this green here as the background.
Oh, polka dots.
It's
How
like
can you go wrong?
little crosses. I don't know if you can see it on the camera.
Okay.
Yeah, I have several yards of this. It was actually gifted to me by So Becker a little while ago, and I figured with this project, what I want to do is make it from stash, like not go to the store if I can. So far, I'm working well with it. We've still got like a bunch to do. I did make one block last night as a test, just to see if the background would work. It's a little strawberry.
Oh my goodness, it's so sweet.
And it kind of like, to me, like this background, and I'd love to hear what people think in the chat and the comments. I think it almost gives it like a farm, like an old school farm feel.
It does.
So,
it's charming.
So there you go. So that's what I'm going to get up to, depending on, I always get distracted and end up sewing like 3 things, and that's about it. So we'll see what happens here. Jean says, I am a superstar. Good morning from Orlando. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I think our term superstar is definitely relative, but yeah, we'll go ahead and get started with clue 9 with this. And so, yeah, I'd love to hear a little bit more about your journey and your decision to start this channel, because you started like 2 months ago. Is that correct? Or is my timeline like really off?
Yeah, not quite 2 months.
Okay.
About 6 weeks ago. Yeah, I've been wanting to start. Gosh, I've been wanting to do a YouTube channel and thinking about it since way back in the knitting podcast days. I was a knitter for a long time. I mean, still am, but that was like my main gig for a while. And it just, my friend had an audio podcast and they were a super smash hit. And she was always like, Amy, you need to have a podcast. Why don't you do that? You know everything. I'm like, yeah, people don't like that, Karen. And she's like, I love it. I'm like, yeah, you're not like most people. But, the idea banged around in my head, and, for a long time. And then when I really picked quilting back up hardcore about 10 years ago, it's been, it's just been back there. And then as more people were on and there was more quilting content, good quilting content, I was like, I don't know, maybe I'll do that. And I was talking to my friends in a small group in a meditation class that we took together. And one of the members of that group is a very successful beauty and lifestyle YouTuber.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, I want to do it. And she's like, you have to do it, Amy. You have to do it. Here, I'll show you what to do. And I was like, I don't know. She's like, well, what's stopping you? I was like, abject fear. She's like, no, no. You've got the skills and you've got the presence to be on camera. You just need to turn the camera on and go. And I was like, okay.
that is the hardest thing. Turning that camera on and hitting the record button for the first time for your first video is incredibly difficult. And then I think the next hardest thing, or if it might be maybe more difficult, is hitting that publish button.
Oh yeah. It was like, okay, really? Am I doing it? All right, it's out there. It's out there. What are people gonna think? And then I realized I don't care what people think. I can't control what people think, and what they think is none of my business. So
Right.
I'm like, your opinion of me is none of my business, and I can go on with my life and be really proud of the work that I'm doing and the creative outlet and challenges that it's bringing. And if people like it, they like it. And if they don't have to watch.
Yeah, and that's
So,
kind of how I feel too. Like I put out the best content I can, and if people enjoy it, that makes me really happy. And if they don't, I just hope that they find what they're looking for.
yeah.
Because I am not everybody's cup of tea, and
It's like, and you don't need to tell me about it. I don't need to know. I know so far all of my comments have been like so supportive and, just championing everything. But I know, the trolls are out there. They'll come for me. I know they will,
yeah, I've been
because
lucky.
they do, but
Yeah,
I don't care. Let them come. I have a
yeah.
delete button.
Focus on those that enjoy it. Like I've been very, very blessed and very lucky so far. I really haven't really got anything to worry about. But yes, you have to be prepared for that, because there's quite a few of our friends that have had some not so pleasant comments. And I feel for that, because it can hurt. But just try and shake it off and move about your day. That's why I tell everybody, like, just focus on those that do enjoy it. So, but I'm just super excited to see how you progress and how you grow, because like I think Donna put in the comments just a little bit ago that you've been here 6 weeks and have over 2,000 subscribers. So you're doing a lot of things right. So
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd love to hear in
I've
the comments.
had a lot of help. You guys have been amazing, and I mean, it's people are like, "How did you do it?" Well, I don't know. I don't know. I talk about things in a different way than a lot of what's out there, and I had a little bit of help from my friend Hannah, who, well, I say a little bit of help, but I mean, her audience is very different than mine. But I've
Right.
got a shout out on her community page. She's on maternity leave right now. I'm so excited for her.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
And just hit hard with the first video, and it got picked up and it swept up in the algorithm, and just a lot of luck and a lot of support. So
Yeah.
I'm really grateful to the community for all that it's been.
Oh, for sure. And I'm so happy for you. And I think,
Thank you.
I think a lot of helps too. Like, you can get all the help in the world, you can do all the studying in the world and everything else. But I think if you're just genuine and you try your best, you're going to succeed. You don't have to be perfect. I mean, if I had to be perfect, I'd have 2 viewers, my wife and probably my best friends, and that's about it. The audience is so supportive, so understanding, and they know that we're not perfect. Like, they're not here to, obviously, you should do the best you can. But,
I think if you're like perfect, people that's kind of a turnoff, it's like, oh, it's unrelatable. So
I've heard that a lot. Yes, for sure.
When we're just like, hey, here we are, and here we all are.
Yeah.
Here we all are. It's much more. It's much friendlier.
Yeah, it is much more like, that's a good point. Like, if you show your mistakes, you showed you're not perfect. Because, like you said, like I've had people say to me in the past, like, they see some folks that do everything perfectly, and they're like, I can't do that. Like, I can't, I just can't, because we're all at different levels. Some of us have been sewing for many, many years. And there's a lot of us that have been, picked it up recently or during the pandemic and that sort of thing there. So what one person considers super easy isn't always the case for everybody else. So I always make it a point to, like, if I make a mistake, I'll rip out my very, very bestest friend. I'll put it on camera. I do not mind one bit. Like, I will show that I'm not perfect and I make mistakes. If you look at my report card from the State Fair of Virginia, because
they're willing to tell you, aren't they?
Yeah, which is good because I need, it's a learning experience. And I'm a better quilter because of it. Like, it's hard to read that stuff where they tell you, well, it's not straight, or this is not right, but that's what they're paid to do. So.
Oh, thank you, Pat Strawhouse.
Pat's a lovely lady.
She just joined my channel. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm trying to look at the chat, but I can't like look at the chat and look at the camera and look at the stitching. So if I don't keep up, I'll go back and read it.
It's okay. I mean, I think who was it? I think I was talking to Becca the other week, because I was like, how do you keep up? Like, because she's a one-woman show. She comes on every Friday night. She has like anywhere between 300 to 500 people watching a night. And I was like, how do you keep up with the chat? And she told me, I can't. And that made me feel so good, because it's like, I thought, you had to, like, so, you just do the best you can. And and I always tell my viewers, like, if you ask a question, I don't see it, ask again or tag me.
Ask it again.
Yeah. Like, I'm not deliberately ignoring anybody, but I miss a lot of stuff because there's so much going on. Like you just said, you're trying to look at the camera, you're sewing, you're talking, you're trying to read the chat. And I'm a dude, like, I'm only supposed to be able to do one thing at once. So the fact that I'm doing 3 things at once, I'm doing pretty darn well.
Hey, at 8 in the morning. At 8 in the morning, no less.
At 8 in the morning. I am a morning person. I will admit that. That's why you'll very rarely see me on a live in the nighttime. It has happened, but usually I like to go on to somebody else and let them talk all the time.
That's something I've learned as being a participant in the live chats, being in the chat, is that if you have a question that you want seen, tag the person, because that highlights their name and it'll pop out. And so if you have a question, that's a good tip for people who are in the chat, in any live chats. Tag the person whose live stream it is, and their name will be highlighted and they'll be able to see your question better.
Yeah, it comes up in orange for me. I don't know about anybody else. But yeah, it definitely helps out a lot, because like, I love that everybody is interactive in the chat. Like, it makes me happy when I see the chat flowing. But yeah, the flip side to that is sometimes you miss stuff. So, and Donna makes a good point. Coffee helps a lot. I've only had the 1 cup this morning because Amanda was up early today. She's taking Lorenzo to school. He's doing he's helping out with the film part of the film school, or film club. I can't remember what it's called. They just talk about it. They get, Amanda teaches at the same school he goes to. So I just like, okay. I asked him, I was like, what time to go? Oh, he has to be there at 8:30. I was like, well, I hope you're taking it, because I'm going live at 8. So like, yeah, that's no problem. But yeah, coffee definitely does help a lot. So
I've got my coffee cup here. I've got my Austin mug today, representing Austin. I have these from all over the world, everywhere we've been. But I've got my coffee pot over here too.
Hey, no shame here. You bring all the coffee you want here. Like, we like coffee, man. Yes.
Like, I've been up since 4. I'm gonna need some reinforcements.
No, for sure. Yeah, and that's actually another question I was going to ask everybody that was either watching. Well, obviously the ones in the chat can already know, but if you're watching the replay, let me know, like, are you someone that normally catches a live and just decided to sleep in this morning? And if you did, I totally understand that. It's good to have a good sleep in once in a while, even though I've forgotten what that's like. Or if you normally just catch the replay because I come on way too early for you, and that's cool too. Like, I know there's a lot of folks from the West Coast that hop on, and then there's some like Tiffany that hop on once in a while. And then, yeah, sometimes I'm just way too early for everybody. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you normally watch the live or if you're normally a replay viewer. I'd like to see. I see the stats, like probably like 2/3 of my views come from replay. So I definitely get that I'm, a lot of people do watch the replay, and that's perfectly fine. I love that the replay option's there for you. Like the old school, back in the day when we were kids, there was no VCR, there was you watched the show when it was on, or
you had to be home at 7:30 on Sunday night if you wanted to see, the Disney, Tinkerbell fly over the Disney, the Disney castle. So,
and I'll definitely show my age here, but when I was growing up, we had 2 TV channels. That was it. There was no.
Yeah, there were 3 networks, and UHF, which was like about another 7 or 8 channels depending on the weather. So yeah. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, we had 2 channels. There was our local channel, local network, and then the government channel, which was kind of like a mix between, it was almost like PBS, I guess. And then, when I was a teenager, we got 2 more channels, and that was kind of like an exciting thing for us. And then I think we started getting satellite in the late 90s, but it was only like 12 channels. And I watched it once in a hotel in Sydney, and I was like, this is not worth it. Like, I can't see why you would pay for this. Like, it's, but there you go. Stephen says he rarely misses a live. I'm a morning person as well. And I find I get a lot done while watching Sean's live. That's why I don't chat a lot, but I'm here because I'm sorry. And I love that, like I've heard quite a few people hop on and say, I put you in the background. I get a lot done during that. And I think that's fantastic.
That's fun.
Yeah. Like if I'm here to help motivate you and help you get stuff done on a Saturday morning, my job here is done. Like, I've always felt like I've wanted to help people and motivate people to do something. And if that's how it works, that's fantastic. Gwendolyn says she's rarely up this early. Catch you live. I normally just watch the replay. Well, thank you so much, Gwendolyn, for hanging out with us.
Oh, thank you.
She's a lovely lady. She's part of our online quilt guild that we host once a month. And it's really neat to have her join us here this morning. So.
Oh, Donnell, thank you. She says she likes my hair. Thank you. I've had purple hair for about 14 years now. I'm gonna tell a story. So Mimi, brace yourself. She has, my sister-in-law, she has no filter. She won't mind. But she was getting married for the 4th time, and she was 31.
Okay.
She had a bad run. She got a running start into a bad string of things. So
that happens.
And but this one stuck. So and I was like, do we have to go to another wedding, Casey? That's my husband. He's like, yes, we have to go. I was like, all right, but if I go, I'm going with purple hair. And so I did. And my of course, my 14-year-old niece was like, oh, you're so cool. I was like, oh, wow. Okay. Who knew? Who knew purple hair was what you had to do to be cool to the 14-year-old crowd? But, it worked. So, and it's just, it's been a lot of fun. So I have stuck with it. When I go, and I can't find anybody here in Texas that can do it the way I like it. So every time I fly home to Atlanta, I am calling and begging my regular girl. I'm like, I'm only going to be there Sunday. Can you help me? And she will come in on a Sunday for me. I'm like, you're the best ever.
Oh, for sure. Like having a good, having a great hairstylist, like finding one that, gels with you, is not as easy to find as you think it is. Like, even as a gentleman where, like you basically just, shave and trim a little bit, you think it'd be easy, but it took me I had a wonderful hairstylist in Australia when I was growing up. We found her when I was about 8, and she was an apprentice. Like, we went to her mother beforehand, and she was an apprentice. She cut my hair. She cut my hair until the day I left to come to the US. And it took me about, I think, 10 years to find someone here that I really like. And it's actually the same styles that does Amanda's hair. And so we've followed her like the 4 different salons ever since. And Yeah, you find someone you like, if you can't stick with it. So begging the lady in Atlanta to do it for you, I
Yeah.
totally get. Like, I don't blame you one bit. Yeah, if you can find someone that does your hair that well, yeah, stick with them, because it's not as easy to find as you might think. And as I said, I've got a fairly basic style. It's not like I'm doing anything fancy of mine. I'm not coloring it. I'm not doing mohawks or anything else like that. But yeah, it's not as easy as you might think.
Well, and they've spoiled me so much because I've been going there for, 14 years. They've
Yeah,
spoiled me so much that now when I go to somebody else, I'm like, it's just wrong. It's
yeah.
just wrong.
Jan's got it easy. She says she's lucky that her daughter's a hairstylist. Yeah, if you've got someone in the family can
Oh,
do it for you, yeah,
nice.
hang on to that for dear life. Like, that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
I lost my stitching here.
Yeah, I asked my stylist in Australia, I said, you have any desire to go move to America? She's like, no. I was like, okay.
No.
I figured that was the answer, but I figured I'd ask.
You should have asked her 6 years ago. Well,
Oh well.
now everybody says, pass.
Yep. Oh, I asked. It was like 20 years ago. So I mean, I've
Oh,
been,
okay.
yeah.
It's been a little wild here lately, and people are like, I'm gonna let y'all sort that out first.
Yeah. Well, also getting a what is it? Not a visa. Yeah, visa. I guess you
Yeah,
call it a visa.
visa.
Getting residency, here is not as easy as you might think. Like, you can't just decide. You can't just wake up one morning and say, okay, well, I'm just going to go move to America. You've got to get approved and all that sort of mess there.
Yeah.
So
We have some good friends that just moved to New Zealand, actually.
oh wow.
And it took them 18 months to get approved, and then they moved, and all that time he was looking for a job because it needed to be on a work visa. And so he had, a certain timeline to find a job with a New Zealand company, not just a job he could do from New Zealand, but a job with the New Zealand company. And he did that. He did that just a month ago or so. And
Yeah.
he was like, I think they visited, and they've got two young children, and they just fell in love, and they this is a quieter, calmer pace, and
Yeah.
it's beautiful, and they just, it's just a little lower key. They were in Seattle, so a little lower key, and they are just eating it up.
Oh yeah. What part of New Zealand do you know? What part they went to? North
I
Islands?
don't know.
It's such a beautiful country. I've only been to the South Island, which is down like where Christchurch, Queenstown, that sort of area. And I mean, you see the photos and you see the video of it, and just how beautiful the country is, but it's not, it doesn't do it justice. Like, it's something you have to go down and experience in person. Like, I went when I was 15. It was a spring break trip that was organized by my high school, and I loved every minute of it. And I want to go back sometime really, really badly, but it's not cheap, and it takes a long time to get there. So, well, they do have a nonstop flight now from New York, so maybe I can just hop on a plane and hop up there and just do it that way.
They did. Disney, they're big Disney fans, as am I. I'm a huge Disney fan. Does a repositioning cruise from Seattle or Vancouver, from that side of the country to New Zealand, and it took a month. And they shipped all their things that they were going to ship, and put themselves and their two little kids on a Disney cruise ship for I think it's just under a month. It's just under 4 weeks, and sailed and had a blast. Hit Hawaii, and
French Polynesia. Yeah, I know exactly which cruise you're talking about. I think quite a few cruise lines do it. Sometimes it's repositioning, and sometimes it's part of a world around the world, all way around Earth cruise.
Right.
I'll get it right in a minute. That's my retirement gift to myself. When I retire, I'm putting Amanda and I on a boat, whether it's in Vancouver or Los Angeles, San Francisco. I really don't care which city it sails out of. And yeah, we've got to do the same thing. We got to float from,
Oh, wonderful.
I just think it'd be a great way. Like I've flown across the Pacific a million times. Well, it feels like that. It's been like 16, but like back and forth.
That's a lot.
But well, it's 8 round trips, but each, oh, dear goodness.
It's a long way.
You don't realize how far it is until you try it. Like, yeah, that's where I think next time I'm taking my Benadryl and just going to sleep. I did that by accident once. I took some motion sickness stuff. And yeah, like Benadryl knocks me out. Like I took it once when we were in Nicaragua, and apparently I had to have 3 men carry me up the hill to put me in my bed. Like,
oh my goodness. Yeah, I can't function on it. Though I did just learn, fun fact. Well, I'll let you decide if it's fun. But that sleepy aspect of Benadryl, your body adjusts to it in like 48 hours. So if you have to take Benadryl for allergies, you're going to be non-functional for the first about 3 days, and then your body turns it off.
Oh,
and I was like, okay, because people were saying, oh, I take it as a sleep aid. It's like, it only works as a sleep aid for the first 2 nights. And after that, it doesn't do anything. And I was like, wow, I don't know. I never take it for that long. So, but if I ever have to take Benadryl, I'm like zonked, non-functional at all. So.
That's interesting. Anyway. I didn't know that. But I don't have 48 hours that I can waste just waiting to see if it works. Like I've got too much stuff to do.
Oh.
Especially during this month of October where I'm posting a daily video. Like if I disappear for 2 days, I think I'd have people like, what's going on? Where is he? What happened to him?
That, or you could post I call it sometimes I have to take Benadryl. I have some bizarre allergies, but I'll have to take Benadryl for that. And the next day I'm just like, Casey will ask me, he's like, are you okay? I'm like, I've got the Benadryl hangover. And my brain just won't quite get back in gear, So yeah, don't want to post drunk videos. That would be that would be bad. That's a whole different YouTube channel.
Yeah, you just wouldn't see me. Like the reason I took it the first time, I wanted to say hi to Becca. She popped in earlier. I didn't have a chance to say hi. You'll actually get to see me and Becca together again tomorrow morning.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, we'll hang out over on her channel at 10 a.m. Eastern. We're going to sew some more panda blocks together. So definitely duck over and check that out. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's always fun to hang out with my mate Becca. But yeah, the reason I took the Benadryl the first time, we used to go down to Nicaragua with our church as part of a mission trip. And I was not very good at speaking Spanish because, first of all, I never took this language in school because who in Australia really needs to know Spanish? We learned German, French, and Italian, which had a little bit more use for, and then Japanese because we have a lot of Japanese tourists coming to Australia. Yeah. But so I wasn't able to work in the medical clinic. I tried that once. Someone decided it was a good idea to put me there, and I had asked the people to fill out the form, and they tell you down there that like the number of people that can't read is like 80 or 90%. And I was like, that can't be right. And so I had to say like 4 words, like, completo el pipo or whatever it is. That's not the right words. Like, but whatever it was, I was saying it right. I was saying it, correctly. My accent butchers the language, but, no one's understanding me. They're all standing there looking at me real weird. And then I wrote it down. I was like, okay, I'll just write it down, the words I need to say on a piece of paper. And I probably went to like 7 different people before I found some old dude that could actually read. And then he turned to everybody, and then like they all filled it out. So I was like, well, thank goodness for that. But then, now I'm thinking about it. It's like, if they can't read, how could they write it out? I guess maybe he filled it out for everybody. I don't know.
Or maybe he told them I don't know. Yeah.
That's a good question now. Like, how did they figure it out? But basically going, I get segued a lot. So they decided that the medical clinic was not the place for me. I was like, well, I could have told you that. So they put me out in the coffee fields. Mm-hmm. And, you have to weed around the coffee plants and that sort of thing there. And you don't have a whip. not a whippersnipper, you don't get a weed whacker, you get a machete. Like what 20-year-old or 20-something-year-old doesn't want to have fun with a machete? I had fun with it. But this year it was particularly, the rainy season was particularly rainy. So there was a lot of these little bugs, I guess you can call them no-nos or whatever they are. I think at the end of the day, I had like 50 some bug bites on my ankles.
Oh my gosh.
And my ankles are all swelled up, and we're in town doing another project. And someone's like, okay, take this Benadryl, it'll help settle it down. Well, I didn't know any better. Like I'd never taken it before. I was like, okay, well, if it gets the swelling down, I'll take it. I don't mind. Yep. And that's all I remember that evening was we had to drive up the mountain in an old school bus up the mountain on this really bumpy road. I remember very little of that. I remember waking up once in a while and seeing oncoming headlights. And then I remember getting carried to bed, and that was about the end of it. So
those narrow mountain roads might have been better to be knocked out.
I know. I was kind of, I now that I look back on it, I was like, yeah, they probably did me a favor that night. So there you go. All right, what did I miss? All right, Stephen says he's been to New Zealand, both islands. It was a cruise. It's beautiful. And if you love nature, you love New Zealand. Absolutely. Like the glaciers there are absolutely stunning. Like if you are able to hit New Zealand up and just spend some time there, I would love to go back. One of these days I will make it. We just, it's a lot of time. It's not a quick, you can't go there for a long weekend.
No. It's not an overnighter. No.
I mean, from Australia, it's easy. Like, 2.5, 3 hours you're there. It's like for me, you're like me flying to visit Amy, like one flight and you're done. But yeah, not from here. All right. Oh, it looks like my friend Pam is here. Good evening. It's good to see you. Susan Nearat has joined us as well. And our friend Sassy's Steph from Memoirs of a Long Arm Quilter is here with us as well. So good morning. And my other friend was here with me last week, Fallon from So Be It Quilters here this morning as well. So it looks like all the cool kids are here. So welcome to everybody. It's good to see each and every one of you. Mary G, good morning. It's good to see you as well. So what do you have going on with your channel? Do you have anything fun coming up? I'm sure you have a million things planned that you haven't been able to do yet. But
I do have a million things planned. In fact, I was working on that yesterday. I was sketching out my calendar for the rest of the year, and I like to plan things. But you have to. And I was sketching out the calendar for the rest of the year and thinking about into 2024. And I'm gonna do Vlogmas, which I have put my family on, on notice about.
That'll be fun for you.
So, fun's a word. I don't know. We'll see at the end if it's the word I choose. But no, I'm excited about it. I am. And I ordered the Missouri Star countdown.
Mm-hmm.
I lost my mind. I got excited. I'm not a subscription box or a mystery box person.
Right.
I'm sorry, my one of my dogs is barking. If that's picking up,
it's
sorry
fine.
about that.
Zoom does a really good job about blocking a lot of that stuff out, so we may not even hear it.
Okay, great. And I ordered that box, and like I say, I'm not one to order a mystery box because you end up with a bunch of stuff that you're like, oh, that's cute. Now what? And I hate that. So, but I was like, well, it'll make interesting content. And mostly I just got excited and was like, oh yes, I need that. I don't need that, but it's coming. It's paid for. I'm gonna have a good time with it. So, but like Becca, I'm gonna open that sucker pretty much when it comes, and I'll just film all the openings because I don't have patience, and I'm a grown up. I can open it when I want. So I think I'll do that and film it, and that part will at least give me a little head start and some encouragement to keep up with the daily, but take some of the pressure off the daily video. So if I can,
because like unless you've done it, it's not as easy as you might think.
Oh no, it's
it's a
lot.
Because I jumped in both feet 2 years ago because I did my very first podcast in end of November, right after Thanksgiving. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm incredibly nervous in front of the camera. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's do Vlogmas for the pure, well, for the pure reason, for the camera time. I figured, you know what? Yeah. I've got 5 subscribers at the moment. Let's just do Vlogmas. We'll do a short daily video. It'll get me more comfortable in front of the camera. And if I'm horrible at this, there's only 5 people watching it, so it doesn't really matter. And I'm so glad I did that because it really did help me get more confident in front of the camera in that time frame. So I would never, go back and do it differently. I tried it last year. I got to about day 18 and had to quit because there was just too much stuff going on. And so that's why I'm doing Vlogtober.
Yeah.
I figure let's do it 2 months earlier. I don't have to stress. I don't have the holidays going on, especially with the kids. Now
I was going to say, yeah, you've got the kids there, and you'll want to do, American holiday stuff.
Yeah,
with them because it's a really neat time of year if you've not experienced it here. Because the customs are so different. So.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, So I won't be doing Vlogmas. I was going to do a daily thing in December, but I'm actually going to push that back now to February, just to give myself a little breathing room. So during December, you'll see my regular videos. I'll still do my podcast. I'll still do my lives. I might throw an extra video out here and there. But if you're looking for Vlogmas from me this year, unfortunately, it's not going to be a thing. But you'll have Amy to watch, Fallon. All my other friends will be joining in the Vlogmas thing. So yeah, definitely go check them out and support them. So unless something, I might change my mind, November 29th. I never say never, but right now, Vlogmas will not be a thing over at The Guy Who Sews. But I have completed Clue 9. It came together super quick.
Oh, it's so pretty.
I love this just loving the colorway. I think it's really, really beautiful. And this time next month, we'll get to see the whole thing put together.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because Clue 10 comes out, I think it's like the 3rd of November. It's the first Friday in November. So whatever. Yeah, that's the finishing kit. So you'll get to see the whole thing put together. And I'm super excited to see how this all bands together at the very end. So now that it's only 8:42 and I'm finished, because I looked at the instructions and it was like 5 steps. Like it was super, super easy. I was like, I better
have some backup work.
Yeah, have some backup. Normally I don't need it. Like I usually start talking and then that's it. I get like four rows stitched and that's it. But today I'm actually doing really well. So you have to come back more often. Susan is
what you're telling me is I'm just running my mouth a lot and that's helping you. But that's what I do.
It makes my life. I like chatty guests. It really does make my job easier. And we're here to learn about you anyway. So yeah, chat up all you want. Susan is asking you, what are you working on? Because we explained a little earlier, but people filter in, especially because we don't come on in the prime time evening. So do you want to explain what you're working on for us?
I will. Let me tie a knot such that I can hold it up, and then
she's doing hand stitching, which is something that I need to learn because I'll explain more in a video later on. The judge's notes from my state fair quilt, but yeah, they don't want me to glue down the back of the binding in the corners. They want me to stitch it down. I didn't get away with it. I was like, you know what? My hand stitching looks like a adolescence gorilla has done it, but yeah, I'm gonna have to learn how to do it. Oh, it's horrible. All
right, I am working on a busy quilt. Let me see if I can get the camera to show the hand. There's my hand stitching.
Oh, that looks wonderful.
Thank you.
If I mail my quilts to you, will you do the back corners for me?
No, my corners are always jagged. You don't want me to do them.
Okay.
Yeah. My friend Tiffany asked me, she goes, how do you do the binding corners? I'm like, well, I can tell you, but you might want to just watch a video because my corners are always jagged because I won't square my quilts because I just don't care that much. So It just doesn't bother me. But I'm also not entering to be judged in
I was going to say,
a
unless you,
show. Or,
yeah, you do
yeah.
you. If you're happy with it, leave it be. Like, yeah, I'm going to have to work on the squaring part because apparently some of my rows weren't straight, which, I was like, it looked pretty good to me when I sent it up, but then I pulled it back and I looked at it and I was like, oh, it's off by, a little bit. Okay, well, I guess they really looked at that. But you learn, you live and learn, that sort of thing there. Tiffany says she's not doing Vlogmas this year. I just can't do those kind of things. Yeah, it's a big commitment. It really is. Sojo, Quilty Stitchy Things, it's good to see you here with us as well. It's
Hey,
funny.
Sojo.
It's good to see her because I remember her saying the other day in a comment that she is not a morning person. So the fact that she's jumped on and hanging out with us this morning, I think is a really, really neat thing. She says, yay, Vlogmas, I'm not doing it, but I like watching everybody else. And that's kind of what I'm looking forward to this year is because I'm not doing it myself, or I don't plan to because never say never.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually be able to enjoy watching everybody else do it. So I'm really, really looking to doing that. Hey, Heather, it's good to see you as well. She says you're going to have to practice. Corners are hard. Yeah, I haven't started practicing yet, and I ran out of time this year because I was telling anybody that would listen, and
I've got to mute for just a minute and yell at my dog. Hang on just a minute.
Well, I'll tell this story while you're muting that. So this quilt here was actually made with the fabric that won the Battle of the Fabrics early this year that I did. And I had never intended on making this a show quilt. It was not designed for that. But about 5 weeks before the entries were due, I had no quilt made. I hadn't started it. I hadn't cut it. I hadn't done anything. So I'm sitting there thinking, okay, well, am I just going to skip the show this year? And then I found this quilt top just laying around. Because, I pieced this thing together in like an hour and a half. And I was like, well, it might not win any ribbons, but at least I can give it a go. It's like, I'll just quilt this thing to death and hope for the best. And it got an honorable mention, which I am super ecstatic with, especially because it was not designed to be a show quilt. There are notes on the judge's notes that says that, it's not straight, blah, blah, blah. But, it wasn't designed for that. So if that's the only thing they could really, basically it was that in the corners that they found. If that's the only things that they could find wrong with it, I did something right. So,
that sounds like that, they had to look for something.
Exactly. Yeah. And they had, I think it was like 6 or 7 quilts. In that section, which is a lot more than it has been in the past. So the competition is a lot more fierce. And from what I've, learned, the honorable mention is like when it's so close to third, but just missed out. So I think it's a solid 4th. And if I'm the 4th best doll quilter in the state of Virginia, I'm happy at that. We got 7 million people. We got 7 million people in this state, I think. So, for me to be 4th, I think that's great. And I was super excited. There was a gentleman that started entering like hand applique, and he won first prize. I'm really excited to see some of the gents entering the quilt shows and doing well as well. So I am super excited about that. Donnell says that she loves hand stitching stuff. It's very relaxing. Okay, well, I might mail my stuff to you. I do need to learn that though. That's kind of a goal for 2024. It was a goal for 2023. Didn't quite happen, but we'll make it work. Pat says regarding the corners, you can glue base and then hand stitch the corners. That's an excellent idea. I did glue them down this time with this wonderful acorn stuff that my friends from Art East sent to me. So I might try that next year. I think that would be very, very helpful, and I appreciate that suggestion a lot. Nadine, bonjour, it's good to see you here as well. She says, I tried hand stitching a little over a month ago and she loves it. I'm kind of hoping that works for me too. I really want to learn how to hand stitch. I want to learn to love it. I just haven't taken that step yet as well. Laura is asking, what is Vlogmas? Vlogmas is it's a challenge that a lot of YouTubers and other social media folks like TikTok, Instagram, all that, insert name here, do during the month of December, where you post a daily video. Now, some people do unboxings. I think that's what Fallon does, Chris from Soda Distance, and that's kind of what you're planning on doing as well, Amy, right?
Plus kind of a lot more.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm like,
it's up to
okay,
the creator.
we're gonna I'm like, if I'm doing it, if I have to turn it around and edit it and everything, and post it in the same day, let's just do it. So
Yeah,
um I have big plans, you know, by December 16th, it may be like, hey, here's my little thing that I got. Y'all, sorry, bye.
that's how it go. That's
But
how it was with me. I get it.
but right now I have big plans. Um so we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it
Yeah,
goes.
I'm excited to see what happens with it. So, um, yeah, I'm really looking forward this year. I really do think I'm just going to sit on the sidelines and just enjoy Vlogmas and watch,
Oh,
because
that'll be good.
because last year I was trying to watch everybody and trying to do my own, and it was just way too much for me. So yeah, I think this year I'm just going to sit back and enjoy it as a viewer, and just just take it all in and just support all my other quilty friends that are doing it. So yeah, unless something really changes, I think that will be my plan here. So now that I've finished my, what's it called, the lavender thingy, this thing, in case anyone didn't see it.
Puzzle mystery.
Yeah, Puzzle Mystery Quill. Clue 9 of Lavender. I'm going to go ahead and move on to my pig, which is part of the Fab Farm. It's a collab that I'm doing with Stephen from Bland Designs and the Idiot Quilter, Shannon from Slay Arts, and Stephanie from Stephanie Stitches. And we each of us put out 3 different pattern choices, and everyone got to vote. And everybody, like almost 2/3 of the people, picked the Fab Farm, which is a pattern by Elizabeth Hartman. And so I figured I'll go ahead and get this started. So it's been a lot of fun. Now I bought and downloaded the pattern yesterday. That is, the pattern itself is 47 pages long.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but it's very well written. And it has 2 different sizes. There's a small, which is 38 by 38, and I think the large one's like 70 something by 70 something. But the large is basically the small, but multiplied by 4.
Or to say it's
Yeah.
just more of the same blocks.
Yeah.
There's
so what I'm gonna go ahead.
There's a gal on, she has a floss tube and quilting channel, and she is maybe nearly finished with the Fab Farm.
Oh, okay.
But I can't remember her name. I'll see if I can look her up. Her organization, the way she breaks it down, and she has like a fabric sample for each of the things, is insane. I mean, it makes my brain hurt. I'm like, I can't work that way, but I love watching her do it. And she does it for every quilt that she does. She has like a notebook page and a fabric sample and swatches and breaks it all down. And I mean, like I say, I'm like looking at it going, girl. Oh, like I look at Mary Jo when she pins Sojo and she
Yeah.
pins everything. I'm like, girl, you and me and pinning are like the exact opposite, but man, her work is beautiful, right?
Oh,
And
she
this
does
gal,
beautiful stuff. Yes.
right? And she's like, I love my pins. I'm gonna keep pinning. I'm like, you keep pinning. I'm gonna just not. But you know, my corners don't match, and yeah, I also don't make that kind of quilt. So it, I love that we're all doing, doing our own thing and what works for us.
Oh, for sure.
Really,
Yeah, it's good to do your, yeah, you do you. Like I've always said that. Like it's good to do you. Um, yeah, I haven't seen the one you're talking about. I have been watching. Her channel name is The Little Quilter. She's doing the produce section by Elizabeth Hartman, and that's one I planned. That was one of my 3 choices that people could vote on as well. And I do plan to do that in early 2024. And I downloaded that one yesterday as well. And I think that's 57 pages long. So that one's going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot of techniques in that there that at least one new technique in there that I haven't done before, which I'm really looking forward to. There's a section there that looks like a lemon cut in half. And
oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's not as hard as I thought it was going to be. But yeah, it's gonna be a nice little challenge, something new for me to learn, which I love when I do a new quilt, learning something new. I think it's always fun to do that as well. So you'll be seeing that. I'm also doing the not the koala, I need to finish that one. The panda with Becca. So yeah, we got a lot going on here. So yeah, Vlogmas is not really something I need to mess with. So yeah, Mary Jo says she likes to pin. I pin if I have to, but I try and get away with it if I don't have to. All right. So right now we're doing the little piggy's eyes. Sorry about that. Okay, let's see. All right.
What is that Elizabeth Hartman quote called? The farm?
Fab Farm, FAB farm. If you put in exclamation point pattern, it will take you to a link for it as well. I try and put the link to whichever pattern I'm working on each week in the chat, so that way if anyone's interested in it, they can go take a look. All right.
Okay. The gal I'm talking about, her channel is La D Stitches. Let's see if I can. Let's see.
I'd have to make you a mod. If you put
I'll
just
put the comment in there.
Yeah, then I can change you over,
and then it can
go ahead.
But yeah, her breakdown process for her quilting projects is beyond anything I thought I was, pretty nerdy about how I break things down. No, this girl, she is like super organized, and it's just fascinating to watch. But she just did the Fab Farm, and I mean, they're adorable. But those Elizabeth Hartman patterns, man, it's like, oh, look, it's a 12-inch block and it's got 162 pieces.
Yeah, but I that's the stuff I'm drawn to. Like, I know it's a
Right.
lot for everybody, and like you said, we all like different things. But yeah, I'm really drawn to her stuff and Art East, which is very, very similar.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I enjoy. And if you enjoy that sort of stuff, you'll continue to see a lot more of that content here on the channel, because it's I basically sew what I like. Yeah. I'm not sponsored by a lot of well, I am an ambassador for Cotton Cuts. But other than that, I do that stuff. And then other than that, I'm as a free agent, I can kind of do whatever I want. And that's kind of always been my mindset with the channel, is that I'm going to sew this stuff anyway, and I just like to bring everybody along for the journey. And it's kind of nice too. Like, I've always decided that that was one of my motivating reasons for starting the channel. Is like, I watched a lot of knitting podcasts and stuff with Amanda, and these people are getting stuff done. And I was like, well, maybe I need to start a channel so I can actually get stuff done, because everyone keeps me accountable. Like, I have a podcast every Sunday, and I don't want to stand there on a Sunday morning and go, well, I didn't get anything done.
Yeah, that's why I've got the kids quilts for they're my cousins, but nieces and nephews. They're littles, and it was a long time, and I was like, guys, I need to put this out there, because I didn't want to come back and do a weekend update and go, oh yeah, no, I didn't do anything. So it was really a motivating factor to go, oh, let's get this done. And then, because I am who I am, it's a motivating factor to go, oh, let's do some more. Because because a show off, I mean, nobody turns on a YouTube camera who isn't a little bit of a show off. That's just part of the sort of nature of the medium. But I was like, oh, well, I'm going to report that I got something done, but excuse me, how much more can I get done, so that people go, wow.
I know, right?
Which is probably not a healthy aspect of my brain, but I'm getting the quilts finished, so I'm really excited about it. I'll take it,
Oh, for sure. And I mean, I think the show off thing, like I am about as introverted as you can get. I mean, if you can read my shirt, it'll tell you that. But I don't think it matters who you are. I think we all love, we all love to do what we do. and we're always very proud of our work, and we like to be able to show it, show it off in that way to others. Doesn't matter how introverted you are. And I love being able to do it on this platform because you can show your family, you can show your friends, but unless they're, quilty related, they don't get it as much as what our viewers will, So I love being able to share it with like-minded folk, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. And then, once you've made a zillion and a half quilts, your family's like, yeah, Mom, you made another quilt. That one's pretty. Thanks. Unless it's got Minky on the back of it, then they're all like, oh, is that one for me? Is that one for me? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, you have 3 Minky back quilts on your bed right now. This one is not for you. They fight over those.
All right, my friend Rob has come up with a brilliant idea here. He says I should set up a group cruise. Now, how fun would that be? Like, we all hop on a cruise ship somewhere in like Norfolk, Virginia. So I don't have to drive too far.
Galveston's not too far, from me.
I was like, yeah, it's not that far compared to like Sydney, Australia, but the only problem of doing one out of here is it'd be super expensive. They usually charge more because it's not like the super big place.
It's not the common.
Yeah, well, you're paying for the convenience. You're not paying to, fly down to Florida or anywhere else. So it'll have to wait to 2025 anyway because they won't be doing any cruises out of the terminal next year. So they're doing some remodel or something because we're actually getting a year-round vessel starting in 2025, which will be super fun because right now they come in the spring and the fall, and because Amanda is a teacher, I can't go during those times. I'd like to be able to because it's like half the cost, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so here is little Piggy. That's his eyes. And then...
so cute.
It's coming together fairly.
Are you doing the small one or are you doing the larger one?
Okay, thank you for reminding me of that because I was going down, I was telling that story and then I got distracted, which happens a lot. I am doing the small. The large one looks great, but I don't really have a use for a large Fab Farm quilt. And I have so many projects I want to do, and tomorrow someone's going to send me something that I'm like, I have to do that too. It's just going to be a thing. But the small one, I figured 38 by 38, it's going to make a nice baby size quilt.
Yeah.
And we have a lady in our office who is expecting her second child in February. This thing's supposed to our collab that we're doing is supposed to wrap up in January. So I figured, okay, let's just make it, let's just do the small. And I can give it to her because I was thinking about making her a quilt anyway, and I couldn't figure out which one I wanted to do and everything else. And then I was like, you know what, this just makes sense.
Two birds.
Two birds, one stone. I think she's having a boy. I don't know what her nursery theme is. I couldn't get that information out of anybody. So I was like, you know what? Everybody likes farm animals. So that's the plan, is for me to finish it, quilt it, and then gift it to her before, she has a second baby. Now, if her baby comes 6 weeks early, she'll just have to get it when she comes back.
She'll just have to get it when she gets it.
Right. But if everything goes to plan, like her first child, I think came right on time. So kind of hoping the second one will do the same thing. But that's kind of the plan. And that way I can get it finished earlier and then, keep working, because I always have a million things going on. So work smarter, not harder, right?
That's it. That's what they tell me. And then I remember, well, why you could do both. And how much more could we get done if we did both? But you have to be careful. Be careful of burnout in that circumstance. For
sure. And I've been lucky. I have not had burnout. I really enjoy this. So, all right, cruise retreat would be fun, and you had the advantage of being able to throw annoying people at the retreat overboard.
Who's that? I like that person.
Who do you think that would be? If you have to guess, someone you know well.
Stephen.
Yes, guilty as charged.
Oh, I like you, Stephen.
All right, Dragonfly Sedona says that she'll have to brush up on her swimming skills.
She anticipates being thrown overboard. Oh, my dear, that's what alcohol is for. for them or for you, whomever needs it.
Yeah, so there we go. I don't know. That'd be fun. I've seen quilting cruises before,
Yeah.
but they're dreadfully expensive.
They are.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll work something out. I think I'm probably just going to stick to a virtual retreat because I'm lazy and I like sleeping in my own bed. So we'll see what happens there. All right. Did I miss anything here? You're paying for essentially a retreat on water. Yeah, but the thing I like about the cruise is you get to like wake up in a different city every day without having to like try and sleep on a bus or airplane or something else like that. All right, so trying to get my piggy together. And how you doing with yours?
Oh, it's slow. It's handwork, and I keep putting it down, to like look at the chat or admire it, and that's not going to get it done, but
That's all right. Yeah, Becca says here that's the benefit of a virtual retreat, your own bed. Yeah, that's what I like about it. And you don't have to like pack all your sewing machine fabric up and all that sort of stuff in a box and pack it in the car or your suitcase and then get there and realize you missed half of your stuff. So Tiffany says, I like virtual retreats because I can stay in my pajamas and nobody can complain. Yes, I like how she thinks. So yeah, I think the virtual retreat might be the way for us to go.
I think on a cruise you can stay in your pajamas and nobody will complain either. And like I say, that's what the alcohol's for. If they start complaining, just say, here, why don't you have one of these little umbrella drinks so we can stand to be around you?
If you can afford it. I mean, those things aren't cheap.
Yeah.
All right. So Jan says, I think the Aussies on here should get together for a retreat somewhere in Australia. That'd be a lot of fun for you guys to do. So we actually are getting more and more people from Australia watching. So you might actually be able to get yourself a little fun little group after a while. That would be a neat thing to do. Janine says, good morning, and Sean and Amy can't stay, just stopping in to say hi and thumbs up. I catch the replay. Awesome. Well, I hope you enjoy it.
Good morning.
So yeah, and then Becca does a monthly Zoom for her VIP members as well, and everyone always enjoys it. I need to hop over and join one of these days, but I always seem to be doing something that those days that they're on. So never say never, but I haven't made it yet. All right. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to ask earlier. Is Dragonflies for Donna was asking me to ask everyone, do you sew with shoes, socks, or barefoot? Let me know in the let me know in the comments or the chat which you do. I'm a barefoot sewer.
I'm barefoot as often as possible.
But I go barefoot as soon as I get in the house. Like I kick my shoes off immediately. I run around my office with socks. Like I don't put my shoes on unless I have to. There we go. Marge is asking where Pam is from. Pam is from the Brisbane area as well. I think you Marge and Pam don't live that far from each other, if I remember correctly. But then again, I don't know where I walk into a room sometimes, so I make no promises. Okay, let's see.
That's actually a safety feature in your brain. It's when you walk through a door and you can't remember what you're there for.
Okay.
That's an evolution. Things stick in my brain and then I just vomit information back on people. So
I love that. I'm the same way. So you're in good company here.
It's a safety feature because if you walked through a door, if you walked out of the cave, it's an evolutionary safety feature. If you walk out of the cave on a mission to do XYZ, right? And you're on the mission to do that, you're going to get eaten by something.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it is an evolutionary safety feature that when you walk through a doorway, your brain stops you from thinking about what you were thinking about so that you can essentially look around and make sure you're safe.
That makes sense. Well, I do remember one time I used to work retail back in Australia, and I came out of the lunchroom into the store, and a lot of the doorways had stock sitting like on a shelf above the door. And I walked through this door, and something was like just stopped for a second, and I heard this rumbling, and then all of a sudden the shelf and all the stuff came down on it. And if I hadn't have stopped, I don't know, I'd still be here. Like, there was some heavy stuff. Like, so
Yeah,
yeah,
there's
maybe.
something in your monkey brain that's there to protect you, and
Yeah.
and that's great. But for the most part, we have evolved past that, except our brains have not caught up yet.
Oh, okay. Well, now I know. See, I've learned something new today.
Whether you wanted to or not.
Hey, I'm always good at useless information. You know, like what you might consider useless information. You know.
Well, I'm a wealth of it, so we're a good match then.
All right.
Oh.
So it looks like we have a lot of barefoot quilters here. Pat says she's barefoot in the summer socks the rest of the year now, but she's up in Northern Ontario. So yeah, I'm pretty sure
they have
that
weather there.
That would make sense, you know, because otherwise you'd probably have frozen feet unless you have the advantage of heated floors.
Yeah.
Yeah, be interested to see, you know, like if the people up in the north would be more likely to sew with socks on or whatever during the colder months. You know, I'm sure the people in like Texas, Florida, the outer warmer areas. So there you go. All right, Nellie says in New York City, just about everybody goes out in pajamas. Okay, I'd never seen that, but maybe I didn't go to the right part of New York City. I suppose I spent most of my time in a lot of touristy areas. I guess they don't go in pajamas there. All right. Let's see. G. Okay, so now we put H. We're making the piggy's ears, in case anyone's curious. Pat says, thanks. I thought it was because of my advanced years. I must be really evolved. Okay, see, that's what I was thinking too. It's like, maybe it's because of my age, that sort of thing there. So yeah, I think you've made a lot of us feel better, even if you didn't think you had. So thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome. That's what I do. I drink coffee and I know things.
Yep. And do you
All
still
that
knit?
stuff is, I do. Well, mostly I just knit socks for my son now. I used to knit socks for my husband, but then we moved to Texas and he's like, honey, I don't, I have enough socks because he's got probably 30 or 40 pair of hand knit socks.
Oh, wow.
And he goes, and he's like, I have enough socks. And my son goes, Mom, my grown son, he's 21 in 2 weeks. And he's like, I like socks. I was like, okay, I'll knit socks for you. So he's very excited. He's very excited about that.
That's awesome. Yeah. I have, I think, 5 pairs of hand knit socks that Amanda's made for me. And I love them. That's all I wear to the office. So every time she knits me a new pair, I get super excited as well.
Yeah, they're special. I always, I have a problem when you're making something and people go, oh, you could sell that. Like being able to sell it is what gives it value. That's, you know, a whole different issue. But with socks, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, they take about 30 or 40 hours a pair to make, you know, and yeah, it's in between time. It's while you're waiting. It doesn't feel like it's that much time, but it is that much time. They've got, you know, thousands and tens of thousands of stitches in a pair of socks. And, but I mean, you know, your wife's a knitter. The yarn, you start with the yarn at $36 a skein.
Yep.
And and then you put 30 hours of work on top of it.
Yep.
And people are like, you could sell those. I was like, no.
Not for the price you're willing to pay.
It's like quilts, you know. Mary Fonz is famous for saying, you know, when people ask her, oh, how much would you sell that for? Or how much would that cost? I'll pay you to make me a quilt. And she's like, no, you can't afford it. They're like, no, I'll pay you for no, you can't afford it. But if you have a quilter who loves you, it's free.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's just, yeah, one of those things. But I love my socks from Amanda. Like, they're one of my favorite things I ever get. So Always look forward to seeing new ones. Maybe she'll make some more soon. I tried to claim one skein of yarn that she got recently, but she said she wants it for herself. So I was like, okay, it's your sock, your yarn, your socks, you do you. But if you ever want to make me more, I'll be more than happy to take them off your hands. All right. Attach Piggy's ears. This has turned out really nicely too. The other thing with this quilt that I'm doing right now is I'm trying to use everything from stash.
I think that's a good thing. That's what I try to do.
That's how the green background came into play because, oh, hang on, did I do this wrong? Yes. How did I manage that? Okay.
I was talking to you.
I'll be redoing this section. Okay, so apparently I have two right ears. So I'll just have to.
Do you have to recut?
Yeah, I'll have to redo this whole section, but yeah, it is what it is. It's not the end of the world. So I think at that point I'm just going to quit. Call it done from, yeah. Chloe says it's awesome using from stash. Yeah, this will be a fun project to do from stash. So I will recut the other ear and we'll do that later on. Come back tomorrow and check out progress on the pig because I'm pretty excited that I should have a decent amount of sewing time today because one of the boys is out doing the film school stuff and then the other one's going to probably hang out with here of us at home. So we'll see how we go. But yeah, let's might go ahead and wrap things up in just a few moments. Do you want to tell everybody if you have anything fun that they should be expecting on your channel in the near future?
I am starting a series of, I've got my book right here. There we go. Little handfuls of scraps. They're little quilts.
Oh, nice.
But I see all my notes are in there. Starting a series of this. I've got still a lot of blank wall space in here. And I have taken and made a list of I'm very inspired by museums. It's one of my favorite places to be. And so I've taken and made a list of a dozen or so of my favorite artists that have very distinctive color palettes that you see used again and again. And I'm going to do a series, these little quilts, each one based on the color palette of a specific artist.
Oh, nice.
And, still use basically the pattern. I can't leave well enough alone. Sometimes it varies. I don't generally stick to the pattern, but it's a good place to start. And so I'm excited to do that. And those are going to come up. I think they're going to post on Fridays. That's what I wrote down anyway. We'll see how it goes,
Yes.
Life happens and you got to roll with the punches sometimes. So
for sure.
Looking forward to starting that. And also then Vlogmas in December, gearing up for that. But I know that seems like a long way away, but in production schedule time,
yeah, you got to start thinking about that now. So Becca says, oh, Amy, that sounds awesome. I love tiny quilts and I've just started saving some scraps. So yeah, that'll be fun. I'll be, yeah, I'm going to enjoy watching that as well. I think that'll be a lot of fun there. Go ahead.
A question for you guys, because I know Becca just said that I started saving scraps. Why? How do you not save scraps? I know there are a lot of new quilters out there who are like, oh, I'm done with that. I'm not going to use. How do you not save scraps? Because, like I said, I've been quilting for 35 years, mostly on, but off and on. And it was always about scraps. I started quilting before it was here, buy the pre-cut. We didn't know what that was, or buy a bundle. Nobody did that. You stacked 7 bolts up on the cutting counter and mixed and matched until you found the right color combination. And so the fact that people don't save and sew from scraps and mix and match things, I'm flummoxed by it. So please enlighten me, because maybe it's just age, but it just astounds me.
I think like I love using scraps, but I think a lot of it is how our brain is wired. Like some people are really good. If you're a spatial thinker or you're good at that sort of thing, there you can find a use for a scrap, which is how I operate. Like I can look at a small piece of fabric and go, okay, well I can put it into this upcoming project or something else like that. But some folk, it overwhelms them, and it's just not worth the hassle. I think Becca just mentioned that. But yeah, if you're not going to use your scraps, there's a lot of people out there that will happily take them off your hands. Like Amy, that sort of thing there. I think Becca sends most of hers to Tiffany, and Tiffany makes some gorgeous stuff out of it. So yeah, I mean, if scraps is not for you, it's perfectly cool. It's fine. It's just not what works for you. And really, it's your quilt time. You do what works best for you. As I said, I love
absolutely. But it just, when I started hearing that, I was like, I don't know. My brain won't process that. I don't understand what you're talking about. Because it's not the I guess it's just not the quilting format that I the way I learned. It was all about saving all the bits and pieces, and mixing 23 different blues in, it's like you need XYZ amount of blue fabric. Well, okay, I have XYZ amount of blue fabric, but I don't need to go buy 3 yards of blue. I have 23 different pieces, and it's just, it was just a new way to think about things, because it wasn't how I was taught. It wasn't how I ever framed anything. And people are like, oh, I don't use scraps. And I was like, what? Huh? Tell me more, because I don't understand.
And that's a good thing.
It's just, I love that I can still be surprised by this thing I've been doing for 30 plus years, and all the new technology and all the new, ways of thinking around color and pattern. And it's just, I love that it continually surprises me.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. So we're all learning stuff every day. So, all right, someone asked me a question here, and I want to go back to it. It's from Dragonflies for Donna. She says, how long do you think it'll take to make that smaller quilt? Looks like you're cruising through it. I think the assembly itself won't take that long. It's the cutting that's going to take the longest time.
Cutting.
But that's just how it is. So, yeah, I'll have to time it one time and just see how it is. But, let's see. All right, so it looks like we have some people use socks. Most people are barefoot, so there you go. Becca says she wants them organized and tidied up, and the amount of scraps I produce will quickly take over her room. I used to give them away. Now I keep the ones I love and give the rest away. So yeah, that's a good option. But yeah, really at the end of the day, like, you do you. Whatever works best for you is what you need to do. So we all think differently. And there's a lot of great resources out there for if you want to find stuff to do for scraps. I mean, Conquering Mount Scrap Wall of Brenda's great.
Brenda's
Kristen
fantastic.
From Scrap Fabric Love, I think it is another great option. There's a lot of great channels out there that do
70 Acres Farm, I think it is, who has taken like Brenda's several of Brenda's foundational ideas and then just gone and said, oh, what else can I do? Here's this potato chip block, but what else can I do to it? And that's fascinating.
Yeah, I love both of those ladies. They do a wonderful job. I mean, Brenda and I have talked on a number of occasions, and I've only briefly talked to the lady from 70 Acres, but yeah, they both do wonderful jobs. So if you need inspiration, yeah, definitely do that. I've cut up pieces of scraps from projects and turned them into like an inner border on a few quilts, and that's worked out beautifully as well. So yeah, just play with it. I mean, a pattern to me is like a recipe. It's a guideline, and yeah, you're always good to go from there. Marie Scrappy Creations is another great scrappy channel, says Pam. Yeah, there's a lot out there. So yeah, just go scrap quilts if you need inspiration and just see what's out there. But with that, I think we'll go ahead and say farewell to everybody. I've really enjoyed having you here with us today, Amy. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank
And
you so much for having me. It's been so
oh,
much fun.
it's my pleasure. And yeah, if you haven't checked out Amy's channel already, definitely do that.
Oh yeah, do
the
that.
the link will be in the description below, and I'll throw it in the chat one more time as well, just in case you missed it. I'll be back later tonight with day 7 of Vlogtober. We'll show you another fun quilt. If you haven't checked out that series, go and take a quick look. Each video is like a minute to a minute and a half. It's real quick. And then I'll be back tomorrow morning with my podcast, and we'll go from there. Go check out Amy's channel. I hope you'll have a great day. Happy sewing, and we will see you all like later today, tomorrow, or whenever. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Bye.